Welcome back to the Dinar Daily. We're here to provide clarity and cut through the noise surrounding the Iraqi dinar and global currency markets. Today, we're tackling a story that's been setting the internet ablaze, the claim that the Iraqi dinar has revalued to a staggering $5.90 per US dollar. This rumor, which has spread like wildfire across social media, online forums, and various video platforms, suggests an official change has already been confirmed by banks. The sheer scale of this alleged shift demands a thorough and fact-based investigation. It's a claim that sounds almost too good to be true, and in the world of finance, such extraordinary claims always require extraordinary evidence. Our goal is to sift through the speculation and present you with the verifiable facts. The conversation about a currency's value begins with understanding what a revaluation truly is. It's not a random event driven by whispers or wishful thinking. It's a deliberate and official policy change executed by a nation's central bank. A revaluation signifies a government's decision to increase its currency's value relative to others, like the US dollar. This action is rooted in solid economic performance, such as a strong balance of payments, a surplus of foreign reserves, or significant economic growth. The move is a calculated part of a larger economic strategy, and it's always announced publicly by the central bank. It's a formal declaration, not a secret. The notion of a currency suddenly appreciating by such a massive margin without any official announcement is simply unprecedented. In modern financial history, the claim of a $5.90 valuation for the Iraqi dinar is particularly dramatic because it would mean the IQD would be worth more than almost any other currency on the planet, including the Kuwaiti dinar, which has long held the title of the world's strongest currency. Such a monumental increase would require Iraq's economy to have achieved a level of growth, stability, and diversification that far surpasses its current state. It would suggest an overnight transformation, a complete reversal of historical economic challenges. This would need years, if not decades, of sustained progress and reforms, not an abrupt, unannounced change. The simple reality is that such a radical shift would be a global economic earthquake, felt immediately across all markets, not just in obscure online chat rooms. So, where did this specific $5.90 rumor originate? We can trace it back to a collection of online spaces, including speculative blogs, forums, and YouTube channels. These platforms often thrive on sensationalism, using exaggerated titles and dramatic thumbnails to capture attention and generate views. Phrases like IQD revaluation confirmed or bank secretly trading at new value are common, designed to create a sense of urgency and insider knowledge. However, a closer look at these sources reveals a pattern of unverified claims. They rarely cite official documents or credible financial news outlets. Instead, they rely on vague references to anonymous insiders or secret memos, none of which can be substantiated. This type of narrative is a recurring theme in the world of online financial speculation, where the promise of a miraculous gain can be a powerful motivator. In contrast to the online rumor mill, official sources tell a completely different and far more grounded story. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, is the sole authority responsible for setting and adjusting the country's currency policy. As of the time of this broadcast, the CBI has made no announcement regarding any revaluation to a $5.90 rate. The official exchange rate has remained stable, hovering around 1,310 IQD per $1 United States dollar. This rate is not a secret. It is transparently reported on major financial data platforms such as XE, and Trading Economics. Furthermore, no respected global news agencies, including Reuters, Bloomberg, or Al Jazeera, which meticulously monitor currency and oil markets in the Middle East, have reported on any such a change. The absence of a single credible report from any of these institutions is, in itself, powerful evidence that the claim is a fabrication. A key factor to consider is the Central Bank of Iraq's operational strategy. The CBI manages a currency peg system, meaning the dinar's value isn't left to free float on the open market. Instead, it is carefully adjusted to maintain internal economic stability, which is particularly crucial for a nation that relies so heavily on oil exports. Any change to the dinar's value is typically a gradual and calculated process, often done in coordination with international partners like the International Monetary Fund (IMF). For example, when the official rate was adjusted from 1,190 IQD to 1,460 IQD in 2020, the move was publicly announced and explained in the context of Iraq's fiscal needs. Nothing about that process was secretive. A hypothetical leap to $5.90 is inconsistent with the CBI's established approach, which prioritizes stability and transparency over sudden, dramatic shifts. To put the $5.90 claim into perspective, one must look at the economic fundamentals of Iraq. For the Iraqi dinar to suddenly become one of the world's strongest currencies, the country would need to show unprecedented economic performance. This would require a massive increase in its GDP, significant diversification of its economy beyond oil, and a huge influx of foreign investment. It would also depend on a level of political stability and governance that is not currently present. While Iraq has made progress in its rebuilding efforts, its economy still faces systemic challenges, including a heavy dependence on volatile oil revenues for over 90% of its government income, and persistent issues with infrastructure and internal political disputes. These realities make a sudden magical revaluation highly improbable. This widespread speculation about a revaluation is not a new phenomenon. For years, narratives surrounding the Iraqi dinar have fueled what are often referred to as dinar scams, where promoters encourage people to buy large quantities of dinar with the promise of future, life-changing gains. These schemes prey on hope and a desire for easy wealth. Regulatory bodies like the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, have issued repeated warnings against these operations, stating they rely on misinformation rather than legitimate financial signals. The promoters of such schemes benefit from the confusion they create, often selling the very currency they claim will soon appreciate to an astronomical value. Investors are lured in by the idea of secret knowledge, only to be left with a high-risk, low-liquidity asset. The Iraqi dinar is fundamentally a high-risk, low-liquidity currency. This means it's not easily exchanged outside of Iraq, and the market for it is far smaller and less transparent than for major global currencies like the US dollar or the euro. The lack of liquidity and the high-risk nature make it a poor fit for anyone looking for a guaranteed return. Instead, it's a highly speculative asset with a history of wild rumors and little factual support for the claims made about its revaluation. Anyone considering engaging with this currency must be aware of the inherent risks and the very real possibility of financial loss. It is not an investment strategy for the faint of heart, or for those who rely on unverified claims from online sources. In recent years, the Central Bank of Iraq has been engaged in a different kind of effort altogether, a gradual and deliberate plan to modernize its monetary policy. This includes measures to reduce the amount of excess cash circulating in the economy, curb inflationary pressures, and promote the use of formal banking channels and digital transactions. These steps are aimed at strengthening the Iraqi economy from the inside out and building public confidence in its financial system. They represent a cautious and incremental approach to reform, not a secret prelude to an overnight revaluation. Misinterpreting these routine, responsible actions as a sign of a massive, impending currency shift is a mistake often made by those caught up in the rumor cycle. The notion of the Iraqi dinar surpassing currencies like the Kuwaiti dinar is not just economically unlikely. It is a mathematical impossibility under the current circumstances. The value of a currency is a direct reflection of a country's economic strength, stability, and global standing. For the dinar to suddenly be worth $5.90, Iraq's gross domestic product would need to surge to an unbelievable level, and its foreign currency reserves would have to accumulate at an astronomical rate. It would require a complete overhaul of its political and economic structures in a short period of time. There are no credible reports from the IMF, the World Bank, or any major financial institution that support this narrative. The reality on the ground in Iraq, while showing signs of progress, is not at a point where such a transformation is possible. Financial experts and regulators consistently advise against making investment decisions based on speculative claims. The allure of a get-rich-quick scheme can be powerful, but it's often a trap. The best approach for anyone interested in the Iraqi dinar is to exercise extreme caution and to rely on official, verifiable information. That means checking the official exchange rate published by the Central Bank of Iraq, monitoring reports from respected international financial news agencies, and ignoring the sensational and unproven claims found in rumor-driven corners of the internet. A responsible approach to any financial decision involves due diligence, critical thinking, and a healthy dose of skepticism, especially when the promises seem too good to be true. The online world has a unique way of amplifying unverified information, and the Iraqi dinar story is a perfect example of this. The sheer volume of content circulating about the $5.90 claim can give it a false sense of legitimacy. The more times a rumor is repeated, the more it can feel like a confirmed fact. This echo chamber effect is dangerous for anyone seeking accurate information. It's a reminder that not all sources are created equal, and in the digital age, the ability to discern credible, factual reporting from baseless speculation is an essential skill. Financial decisions should be based on data and transparency, not on the hope fueled by viral content. In summary, the claim that the Iraqi dinar has revalued to $5.90 per US dollar is a fabrication. There is no credible evidence from the Central Bank of Iraq, from global financial institutions, or from international news agencies to support this claim. The official exchange rate remains stable at approximately 1,310 IQD per USD, and all indications from the CBI point toward a gradual, cautious approach to monetary policy, not a sudden, dramatic revaluation. The economic conditions required for such a monumental shift are simply not present in Iraq today. The rumor is a product of online speculation that preys on hopes and dreams, and it has been explicitly warned against by financial regulators. The pursuit of wealth is a powerful motivator, and it's understandable why people would be drawn to a story like this. However, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction. The Iraqi dinar's exchange rate is a matter of public record, not a secret. While the country continues its long-term efforts to rebuild and stabilize its economy, these efforts are a marathon, not a sprint. Any significant changes to the currency will be announced formally and will be a reflection of sustained, verifiable economic progress. For now, the best course of action is to remain grounded in reality, to rely on official sources, and to be wary of any claims that seem to defy all logic and evidence. This narrative about a sudden, secretive revaluation is inconsistent with how central banks operate and how major financial events are reported globally. The central bank's actions, such as efforts to reduce currency in circulation and promote digital banking, are part of a broader strategy for long-term stability and are not a hidden signal. They're transparent moves to improve the country's financial infrastructure, not a magical transformation. To view them as anything else is a significant misinterpretation of their purpose and scope. Staying informed means looking beyond the hype and focusing on the slow, deliberate work of economic reform. Ultimately, the best defense against misinformation is knowledge. Understanding what a revaluation is, how central banks function, and what the current economic realities are in Iraq allows you to see through the sensational claims. The Iraqi dinar's value is a reflection of its economy, which is still in a rebuilding phase. A journey from its current state to a valuation of $5.90 is not a matter of a single, secret event but of years of hard work, structural reforms, and economic diversification. The absence of these prerequisites means the claim is not just unverified. It's fundamentally inconsistent with the observable facts. The dinar story serves as a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of uncritical consumption of online information. It highlights how rumors can gain traction and even seem plausible simply through repetition and a lack of accountability. For those who watch the Dinar Daily for reliable updates, the message is clear: trust official sources, verify every claim, and avoid making financial decisions based on sensational promises. There is no secret revaluation, and the current state of Iraq's economy simply doesn't support the fantastical claims circulating on the internet. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and always apply due diligence to any investment.